Ariel Helwani in Las Vegas for UFC 162 alongside UFC President Dana White. And Dana, unfortunately, we can't have our usual 20-minute interview. I know you love those, but I'm on a 3-minute time limit thing here, and it's very disconcerting to me. But anyways, let's get right into it. Chris Weidman, Anderson Silva. Obviously, the fighters believe in Chris Weidman. Obviously, the media believes in Chris Weidman. Do you get the impression that the fans believe in Chris Weidman? Has the UFC done enough to tell these people something great might happen on Saturday?
Well, I think it was split here today at the press conference. You know, when Weidman talked, half the place was going crazy, and then when Silva did, half the place, and a lot of Brazilians in town for this fight. Yeah, it's very mixed. The odds makers. The odds makers believe he has a chance. The lowest odds ever on Anderson Silva here in Las Vegas, or at least in a long time. So I don't know. We'll see.
People were getting worried about the ticket sales because there was a report out of Brazil that only 25% of the tickets were sold. But today, you said they were very good. So where does this come from?
A report out of Brazil. I didn't say they were very good. I said we got a $4.2 million gate and have sold 12,400-something tickets.
That's pretty good, right?
Well, let me put it to you this way. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. I mean, let me put it this way. When the question was asked today, I didn't even know the answer to the question. I had to have somebody, you know, call the office and find out what the number was. And you know, how would a report come out of Brazil?
Do you get the impression, though? Do you really, truly believe Chris has what it takes to beat this guy? I mean, taking aside, just as a guy who studies the sport and watches it, not the promoter, do you really feel that a guy who's 9-0 can do it to the greatest of all time?
Well, obviously, I feel that anything can happen on any given night. And if you look at the two in a matchup, today at the stare down, they were both the same size. Weidman might have actually been bigger than him, a little bit bigger than him. He's got great ground. He's got great wrestling. His stand-up is good. The thing that you have to ask yourself, is Anderson Silva going to show up and look 38 years old someday? Is that going to happen? And if it does, is it going to happen Saturday night? If he doesn't look 38 years old, it's hard for me to not like Anderson Silva. I mean, the guy is the greatest of all time. He does things that other people can't do. But that's what makes fights fun, because you can have everybody's an expert. Everybody can break a fight down a million different ways. There's only one way to find out, and that's fight on Saturday night.
I have been dumbfounded by Anderson's insistence to keep bringing up Roy Jones, a guy who is past his prime, who hasn't had a big win in, 10 years. And then today you said you have invited Roy Jones to come to the fight, and you've been talking to him. Why? Why Roy? Why would you be interested in this?
Listen, it's not that I'm necessarily interested in this. Anderson Silva is the greatest fighter of all time. You know, he's a guy who's never lost in the UFC. I respect him. He wants to fight Roy Jones. So Roy and I are friends. I called Roy and said, listen, you know about this? He says, I know about it. I said, you interested? He said, I'm going to come out to Vegas this weekend. So Roy and I have been talking, and we'll see what happens.
There's a chance this could happen.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. He's coming out. We're going to talk.
Why do you think all this momentum has built up about fighter pay lately? And you have a guy who's coming into the UFC. Usually it's guys who are coming out. A guy coming in like Tim Kennedy talking about it negatively. Where's this coming from, in your opinion?
Yeah. Well, number one, I think that a guy like, first of all, I think because this whole fighter pay thing, these guys are getting asked loaded questions. Okay? When you get asked a loaded question and it comes out, I've dealt with the media many times. And I'm not saying that's what Tim Kennedy did. Maybe Tim Kennedy came out and said, yeah, fighter pay sucks. I don't know the answer to that question. But if you ask anybody, should you make more money, everybody's going to say yes. Well, now I went out and said we're going to do away with bonuses and we're going to raise the level of pay, and now all the fucking fighters are flipping out. And people are hitting me up and going, Dana, the bonuses are life-changing. And here's the thing about fighter bonuses. The guys who are talented enough to win them don't want them to fucking go away. You know, the guys who aren't talented, we live in this world. I just went through this whole fucking thing in the scrum. We're in a society now where people think everybody should get a fucking trophy. Not everybody wins a fucking trophy. There are guys, if you are good, first of all, we're in the fight business. Not just them, me. We're in this together. We're in the same business together. You're as good as your last fight. And that sucks. Not only are they good as last, so are we. I work in a business where I ask people to stay home on Saturday night and spend money to watch fights. Or I ask you to stay home on Saturday night and watch it for free, but there's lots of other shit to do. There's movies, there's this, there's that. You want to spend time with your family. There's a lot of things that go on out there, and we ask you to stay home on Saturday night. And my job is to make sure that we fucking deliver. If you stay home on Saturday night, we deliver what you want, what you're paying for, or what you're staying home for. And there's some guys that will make it. I know it's sad. I know it's sad some guys can't stay in the UFC, the John Cholishes and the Volkmans and whoever else it might be. It sucks. And you know what? I bet it hurts. And when that happens, you want to stand up and fucking scream from the rooftops Fuck you, UFC. I get it. It's the cold, hard reality of fucking life. Some rise to the top and make it, others don't. Instead of bitching about it and doing whatever, why don't you go out and put on the best? You see two guys going over and pushing against a fucking cage like this for 15 fucking minutes, okay? Let me give you a hint. Nobody's going to stay home on a fucking Saturday night and watch that. Go out, be a guy that when a fight card happens, people are talking about you on fucking Sunday and Monday. That's how you make the money.
Incredibly rapid fire here. You're back in Nevada. Has Keith Kaiser reached out to you since you talked a little negatively about him in Winnipeg?
How did I talk negatively about Keith Kaiser?
About the whole operation here, about Mazzagatti and some of the things that he's done.
I don't think that I talked negatively about him. You can't single out one guy.
Of course, but he is the head.
Well, no, he's not really the head. No, he's not.
Publicly.
The commissioners are. And, you know, he's one of many people that I think need to fix it. And I've seen him 10 times on The Ultimate Fighter since I got back. And, no, we don't talk about that. What people don't understand is they're the government. They regulate me. I don't regulate them. It's not like I sit down like, you hear what I said, Keith? Get that shit worked out soon. You know, I voice my opinion, and I let people know how I feel. But to be honest with you, there was a mixed bag about the Mazzagatti thing. Apparently people don't, you know, give a shit and think that Mazzagatti is the fucking greatest ref ever, you know, including John McCarthy, who I think was kissing a little Nevada ass there. You know, I get it. John McCarthy's got to kiss some Nevada ass. He wants more work here. But, yeah, if other people aren't concerned about Mazzagatti, then why should I be? Here's the reality. The fighters have the option. The fighters have the option to go into the athletic commission and say, I don't want this guy reffing my fight. Why? Because he's pretty incompetent. Or whatever their reasoning is, they have the right to do that.
Last one, you have yet to talk to Stephan Bonnar. You're going to talk to him on Saturday when he gets inducted into the Hall of Fame. What will you say to him?
I don't know. You know, I'm going to see him on Saturday. You know, it'll be good to see him. I don't hate Stephan Bonnar. I actually love the kid. Just been pissed at him.
Thank you, Dana. Appreciate it.